Yo, what's going on? VolcanoBeats, the Sampler King, live from Studio A. Today we're going to be talking about Baby Audio's Spaced Out. This is a brand new delay slash echo slash reverb slash craziness plugin. It's kind of a clone of if you know about this old school gear, you know what I'm talking about. It's got echo and it's got delay. So we're going to get into it the way I use it in my workflow. I use it on all type of stuff. Synths, snares, everything. So let's get into the features of that plugin. It's got a crazy matrix, XY, it's everything in it. So let's get into it. But first, hit that like, hit that subscribe. We're going to keep this content rolling. Now let's keep going and get it going. All right, let's get right into this. Baby Audio Spaced Out. Now, this plugin is basically, in my opinion, a clone or like a homage to the Roland RE201 Space Echo. If you ever got a chance to use one of those, you know that thing is phenomenal. I've used it on guitars and synths and all type of stuff. So this joint is basically, it gives you those two sections, but this one goes a little bit further, where you can control a lot of stuff. Obviously, that thing was made back in the 70s, so you're not going to have the type of control you would have with a plug-in. Now, inside of Spaced Out Audio, we're not going to get too deep into every little parameter, but basically just give you an overview of how it works. On the left side, you got the echo, which is like the delay, and on the right side, you got the space, which is like the reverb. So this little matrix in the middle, basically like an XY axis almost, you can control what gets what. So basically you got 1 to 100. So are you going 100% worth of echo or 100% worth of space? Whichever one you want to choose, you basically can choose in that in between, which is cool. And then you got the same thing up and down for wet and dry. So you can control, okay, 100% dry or 100% wet. It's up to you. I like that little cool feature, and the best part about it is, like, I got this little thing open, everything is MIDI mappable. I'm using Ableton Live right now, configure, boom. All this stuff is MIDI mappable, so you can actually put that on the MIDI controller and map it out, so you can play around with it as you're playing. So that's a pretty dope feature. I got a little basic little aux going. I got 3 different sources I'm gonna put through it, because I'd rather show you than talk about it. So I got a dope guitar going. I'm gonna play that and just start configuring like parameters and all that and just talk my way through it. And as you can see, I only have one plugin open. That's a big thing about this one. It's a hog. It's definitely a hog. I only have one plugin open and I'm up to 34%. So that's basically like a third of my processing power off one plugin. This plugin does a lot, but it's something to think about. So with these parameters, you have on the left side your echo mode. Basically, you can configure where you want your echoes to be. It's like a step sequencer, which is crazy. I've never seen anything like this, where you can, it's kind of like a tap delay, but this one is even, you got even a little more control, because with a tap delay, you can tell it what, like, denomination you want, 1/4, 1/16, whatever. But here, you can actually put it in. So if you're playing around with some crazy rhythms in the song, you can actually get that done with being able to put like where you want your taps, basically. Let's make it a little bit more wet. Let's start up top where you got the modes. This is where your straight quarter note, eighth note, 16th note timing. Next, you got double time, 2 times that. The next mode you got is dotted. Like I said, if you want to play with some off rhythms. Yeah, it's crazy. But and then last we got triplet. Down at the bottom, we got intensity. So you can control how much those hits are holding on. Right then, I didn't have the intensity up too much. But now we're going to push the sustain up a little bit. And then you got feedback. So the controls on this thing is they look kind of weird, but you can basically, when you get used to using it, you'll kind of know it. I've used it a few times now. So you got your sustain and you got your feedback. And as you can see, like, I'm starting to shape the sound, so it's nice. With your dimension, so basically you got your ultra wide dimension. Basically, I liken it to like a Roland Classic, the dimension, so dimension D. So yeah, it gives you kind of a, with the ultra wide, you get kind of a spaced out, phasey type of thing. With the motion, it's more like a flanger type of thing to me, where it's kind of moving, which is crazy. Like I say, I'm got my little XY axis to control how much of this actually gets through, which is crazy. Texture, we got our clean, we got our wonky tape. That's nuts. We got our lo-fi. And we got our hazy. Next, we got the reverse mode, which is nuts because you used to have to do a lot of processing in the box to make something sound reverse, like on a reverse delay type of thing. This is nuts that this is built in here. But now you can see why this processing power is going nuts. I'm not even out of the echo section yet. And I've done like 4 or 5 things that it takes 2 or 3 plugins to do. And then lastly, you got the filter on this side. So we're going to push it to a little bit to the extreme, then turn it on and off. So you can kind of hear the difference. That's without, and that's with. Night and day. And this is only half the plug-in. So let's keep moving right. We got our ducker sync. So you can kind of time it according to like, and making your delay duck the actual hits. Sync it, and that will sync to the tempo of the actual session. Which is a cool thing. Let's move it closer to the middle. We're gonna get into this right side. Now we got our space over here. We're going to bring that down some because space is a little bit more heavy-handed than echoes. So on our space side, we got the different modes. We got vacuum. And kind of like the middle section, you got kind of like an XY axis going on type of thing where they change up according to which one you have going. So our first one is vacuum. Second one is small space. That doesn't sound small to me. Got your medium space. That's nuts. It's giving like that same wonky feel of the echo. I thought that was the echo coming through, but it's not, which is cool. And then you got outer space, which is this thing pushed to the extreme. You could barely hear the original hits when you got it in outer space. So yeah, if you bring that down, it adds some decent texture in the background. Like I say, this little XY axis controls the length of your hits and like how big they are. So it's kind of, it looks almost like radar or something like that, where it's like radiating out. And I guess that's the way you can think of it. So when you go up, you get lush. Up and to the right, you got lush. Up and to the left, you got cosmic. Another, just basically 4 different tones in here. Bottom to the left, you got alien. And bottom to the right, you got trippy. And all would depend on basically the type of signal you got going through it, which one works best for you. Moving on to the bottom section. And like I say, those things basically all respond different when you got them in different modes. So it's not like having 4 different modes. It's almost like having 8 different modes, which is crazy. Next, we got pre-delay. Pre-delay basically just adding delay to the first hit. So we see how that sound. Makes it crazier. So you can make it extreme. You go all the way up to 100. And just like the other stuff, like I was explaining, like all this stuff is MIDI mappable, which is crazy. Stardust, I'm guessing when you're thinking about space, Stardust, I can't really explain it, but it's kind of self-explanatory when I start pushing it up. It's like basically it's taking away the lows and adding like sheen to the highs. To my ears, that's what it's doing. Mellow, the same type of little weird little knob thing they got going on left and right, where you pushing the lows all the way out, or you pushing the highs all the way out. That little, the way the knob works is kind of weird. That's the only gripe I have with this plugin, but you can kind of hear what I'm doing. Like if you push it all the way up, you're pushing all the lows out. Push it all the way down, you're pushing all the highs out. So yeah, I wouldn't. It's almost like a filter, but not exactly, because I would say this is more like a shelf. Because the tones are there, it's just they're like dimmed. So it's not like a filter. Clean up. Let's go to the extreme. So with clean up, what I'm hearing basically is just that it seems like it's cutting off the transients, like it's cleaning it up so the next thing can come through. Cutting after the transients, I mean. And then last, we got width. How wide you want this thing to be. Now we're gonna put it in the middle so you can hear both. Yeah, like I said, this thing is pretty cool. And last is basically the dice, where you hit that and it just generates randomly. Also, I forgot in this middle section, this little thing called lift off. This thing, it kind of just takes, it does just that. It's like a space theme plugin. So this thing kind of like just takes whatever you're doing a little bit deeper to the extreme. So you can use that to get some decent tone too. Yeah, this plugin is nuts, and I've used it, like I say, on the guitar, synth. I'm gonna pull up some drums real quick. just so you can hear how you can use it in a creative way. And you kind of zero it out a little bit. All right, let's start putting our hits here. We're going to randomize that. Anywhere you see that little dice, that means random. Now that may be phenomenal on like an intro. What's cool is also putting this in the aux, so I can leave that in. I don't have to put it on the intro. I could just leave it in and automate it in and out of the joint. So yeah, that's pretty dope. Plugins like these are the ones that like people hear your beats or hear your song. They're like, man, what were you doing on that part, man? How did you make that happen? This little spaced out plugin, you could do all type of stuff with it. Like I say, all this can be automated or MIDI mapped. Filter. I probably, to be honest, I didn't even try to find out the slope on it, because that means I'm doing stuff with math instead of with my ears. So I'd rather not. With a lot of these features, I didn't even try to like dig deeper and like try to read the manual or anything like that, because I wanted to use my ears and not math. So sorry if this demo isn't like super technical, but it's enough super technical demos out there. I just want to show things in a practical way. That's nuts right there, man. That dotted mode is ridiculous. Yeah, now you can see why this thing is such a CPU hog, because I'm doing like 7 things at once. Yeah, that's nuts. And lastly, I'm going to show how I used it on this bass tone. It's nothing crazy, just basically, it's not a usual bass, it's more like a synthy bass. So adding some space and some depth to that. Let's turn off a couple of these modules. Now let's add some space and some depth to that. Make it wider. Yeah, on this bass synth tone, it's a little bit more mellow, the effect. There we go. Sound like a scene like Thanos is coming or something. Yeah, this thing definitely succeeds in its name, spaced out. Definitely. yeah, this thing is phenomenal. I have a lot of fun using it. I'm gonna have a lot of fun continually using it. Just yeah, definitely hit them up. I think Baby Yada Yo has a trial, but if not, you can go to Plugin Boutique. They usually have trials, so you don't have to commit before you get it. This is definitely an A+ plugin in my opinion because of basically all the features on it. It's a CPU hog because it's doing like 4 or 5 things all at once. So you can put it on an aux and basically have it as like a space aux. I wish it wasn't so CPU intensive. I would use it like a space aux and just open it up in all my tracks, because majority of the music I'm using on something, some vocals, a guitar, a synth, something, just a hi-hat part, whatever. But yeah, this thing definitely opens up a lot of creative opportunities inside your tracks and your music or your mixing. So yeah, I definitely say go check it out, man. I got a link in the description. You can go directly to it and download that trial, man, and try it out in your setup. I guarantee that it adds something. It may not be 100% for you. Like, it's not like a traditional reverb or traditional delay. It's not gonna replace your stock DAW delay. But if you're looking for something to give you some extra crazy tone, when you're looking for something out of the norm, this exactly is the plugin. This is the plugin for the people like myself that's got a plugin for everything, but I don't have a plugin that does some of the stuff that's in here. So, and being able to combine all this stuff is crazy. So check it out. Hit me up in the description. Let me know what you think. Let's keep it rocking, keep it moving. Peace.